And we are live. Alright, everyone, welcome back to my channel, Baseball Talk with Nick Morgan. Today is Wednesday, April 21st, 2021, and the Braves and Yankees will square off for the second and final game of the series. Last night, New York broke their 5-game losing streak as they defeated the Braves by a score of 3-1. This evening, they look to break out the broomsticks against the Braves and sweep Atlanta before a 4-game set against the Cleveland Indians. Corey Kluber gets the ball for the Yanks and makes his 4th start of the year. As for the visiting Braves, 22-year-old Ian Anderson will get the ball. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's visiting Atlanta Braves team. Guys, thank you for joining me here today. Braves at Yankees will begin just momentarily. First pitch is scheduled for 6:35 p.m. Eastern. But for Corey Kluber and the New York Yankees, they're looking to win their 2nd game in a row. They broke a 5-game losing streak last night as they beat the Atlanta Braves in the first game of the series. It's only a 2-game set, so Atlanta looks to either even this up or get swept, and that's really the only 2 outcomes that we can see tonight unless this game gets delayed. But by the means of things, the weather does look good in New York. A little earlier on, the forecast was a bit cloudy, but we are set and ready to go. It's Corey Kluber versus Ian Anderson. And for the Braves, leading off the switch hitting right fielder, Ehire Adrianza, batting second at first base. The Braves, a bit of a lineup change tonight. Freddie Freeman, Marcell Ozuna will bat third, starting in left field, and Travis d'Arnaud, tonight's catcher for the Atlanta Braves organization, will bat cleanup. Ozzie Albies, the switch-hitting second baseman, fifth. Pablo Sandoval, the DH for the Braves, will bat sixth. Dansby Swanson, 7th, starting at shortstop. Austin Riley gets the start at third base. He will bat 8th. And Guillermo Heredia will bat 9th in center field. So there's your starting 9 for the Atlanta Braves. Again, it's Adrianza, Freeman, Ozuna, d'Arnaud, Albies, Sandoval, Swanson, Riley, and Heredia. They will be all tackling Corey Kluber and the New York Yankees. Now, both teams have very similar records heading into tonight. The Yankees are 6-10 throughout their first 16 games, and the Braves are 7-10, so 1 game more than they've played than New York. Very similar records between the two. And both sit considerably low within their divisions. The Yankees are actually one of the worst teams in the American League currently with that 6-10 record. They are 5th in the AL East. The Atlanta Braves are 4th in the NL East. They are 7-10, 2.5 games back of the New York Mets. So a big game for both teams. The Yankees 5 games back of the Red Sox, who currently lead the division. And Corey Kluber gets the start tonight in pinstripes. This will be his 4th game of the season, his 4th game with the New York Yankees. And of course, if you recall, heading into this winter, Corey Kluber agreed to a 1-year, $11 million contract. A bit of a risk there for New York. They did not know what Corey Kluber was going to look like on the mound this year. He suffered from injury in 2020, did not pitch a little bit towards the end of 2019, but Kluber, of course, is a former 2-time American League Cy Young Award winner. So a gamble, yes, 1 year, $11 million. He is a rental arm, but the Yankees needed the help in the starting pitching rotation going into the 2021 regular season. That was one of their biggest downfalls last year in the 60-game abbreviated span. So Corey Kluber, of course, the New York Yankees ace. Garrett Cole, of course, is a New York Yankees ace. Corey Kluber, their number 2 man. Jameson Taillon, 3. Jordan Montgomery, 4. And then a couple different guys they've been using at the very end of their rotation. But Kluber and Taillon, both incoming pieces to begin this year. Jameson Taillon pitched last night, 5 innings of work, one of his best starts as a New York Yankee. Tonight, Corey Kluber looks to do the same. Now, Kluber, heading into this evening, has not pitched more than 5 innings, or has not even reached 5 innings in a single game started for the New York Yankees this year. 3 games, no wins, 1 loss, and a 6.10 ERA for the veteran right-handed hurler. So, Corey Kluber against the Atlanta Braves. He's ready on the mound, throwing up his final few warm-up pitches. It's going to be Ehire Adrianza leading things off for the Atlanta organization. And this game will begin in just a few moments. Thank you all for joining me here today, guys. I appreciate you taking the time out to give a little listen as we do a live coverage and commentary of the Atlanta Braves at New York Yankees. It is April 21st, 2021, and the Yankees look to complete this 2-game sweep. So, of course, if we look at the Atlanta Braves lineup, there is a little bit of a shakeup for the Braves tonight. Freddie Freeman batting second, Marcell Ozuna third, Travis d'Arnaud at cleanup. Now, those guys all shifted up one. Ozzie Albies was formerly their number 2 hitter, at least for a lot of the games earlier this season. So is their leadoff man, and then Ozzie Albies, Freddie Freeman, Marcell Ozuna, Travis d'Arnaud. Instead, Ozzie drops to 5. Freddie Freeman's batting second, Ozuna third, d'Arnaud cleanup. The first pitch of this game is fouled back for strike 1, and we are underway. So as we go through, we look at the top 9 guys in this lineup for the Braves. We realize that Ronald Acuna Jr. is absent from the lineup tonight. He was yesterday as well. He is battling, I believe, a day-to-day injury. So he is out for the time being. The Braves are going to miss that presence of Acuna, who's been off to a terrific start to begin the year. It's an 0-2 count to Adrianza, and this one is popped up on the infield dirt, and there is Gio Urshela with the shift to make the catch. So a pop out to begin the ball game. 3 pitches, 1 out, and this game is underway. Now up for the Atlanta Braves is first baseman Freddie Freeman. Now Freeman is stepping in tonight with a .233 average, 5 home runs, 10 runs batted in, and 1 stolen base. Left-handed slugger, the 2020 National League Most Valuable Player. And the first pitch he sees from Corey Kluber is swung on, hit deep to right field. Back at the wall is Judge, and he makes the catch just a few steps in front of the warning track. So Freeman jumps on the first pitch he sees, gives it a ride out to right field, but it will not leave the ballpark. There are now 2 outs. Corey Kluber on 4 pitches, off to a very efficient start to begin this game. Here is Marcell Ozuna through 17 games this season. The Big Bear hitting .219 with 8 runs batted in and 1 home run here in 2021. The OPS lands at .590 after 64 at-bats. And the delivery from Kluber is going to be upstairs for ball 1. Behind the plate tonight for the New York Yankees is none other than their starting catcher, Gary Sanchez. Kyle Higashioka has gotten significant playing time within these first just over 15 games of the season. He's had some big offensive outings. Caught Garrett Cole a couple times, Yankees ace. And if we look at this New York team, they are definitely struggling out of the gate. They just broke a 5-game losing streak last night against this very team. They won by a final score of 3-1. But they are 5th in the AL East for the first time in a couple of decades. And they were one of the last teams in the American League record-wise as well. I believe just the other day they were like the 2nd worst team in the AL. So not off to the start that they wanted. Collectively, the team is not hitting all too great. Under 20 home runs as a roster through almost just as many games as we open up the 2021 regular season. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ozuna. So the key for the Yankees, I mean, it sounds obvious, but they have to hit. If the Yankees want to win games, the pitching staff has been dominant. The bullpen really looking good early here in April. As this one misses downstairs, the count goes full. The bullpen is amazing for the New York Yankees. The starting pitching has had its ups and downs, but the offense is what's really bringing them down, and that is the big reason why they've lost 10 games and they find themselves at the bottom of the division, just because they have struggled to get hits. You look at the lineup: DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Urshela, Torres, Hicks, Sanchez, Clint Frazier. All of them have struggled significantly out of the gate. Now, DJ LeMahieu, his average was a little bit low for his standards, through the first 10 games or so of the year. Now that's back up to 300. Urshela was hitting the 100s about a week ago. Now that's up to 273. This one's popped up to the infield as well. This time Gleyber Torres with the squeeze. So that will end the inning. No hits, no runs, no men left on base for the Atlanta Braves. Corey Kluber, a very clean inning, and this one is heading to the bottom of the first. But you look, even, Aaron Hicks, Gary Sanchez, Gleyber Torres, all of them are batting under 215 as individuals. Gary Sanchez with the highest average out of the three at 214. But then Hicks is batting 160, Gleyber 182. So the Yankees and some of their big pieces are definitely taking a little more time to find themselves back in tip-top shape and in their A-plus form. Besides Cole, which Yankees pitcher do you have the most faith in? Well, right now, I would like to say that goes to Jordan Montgomery. I do believe he is going to be strong for us in his outings. He's looked good. And I think out of him, Taillon, Kluber, he looks the most reliant upon. So I'm going to say Jordan Montgomery right now. I do think that Jameson Taillon and Corey Kluber, as the season progresses, will get better. Now, you have to remember that both of them are coming off of some significant injuries and some battles over the course of the past few seasons. Taillon's undergone many surgeries, since 2019. Corey Kluber through, I believe, 2/3 of an inning last year before getting taken out and missing the rest of the season. So they are coming back from some stints on the IL and not active rosters. Kluber with the 6.10 ERA coming into tonight. I do think that'll get lower. We should hopefully see some better numbers out of them, and maybe Kluber wouldn't be, at this point in the career, or at this point in the season, 3 games on 1 record. If the Yankees had a little more offense, I mean, it kind of can go either way, but pitching wins the games, hitting wins the games. You need to do both in order to be a successful organization. And the Yankees, when their pitching is great, their hitting hasn't been, and vice versa. So we head to the bottom of the first. In steps DJ LeMahieu of the New York Yankees through 15 games this season. A .300 batting average with 1 home run, 5 RBIs, and a .799 on-base plus slugging. Ian Anderson on the bump for the Braves. He will face off against LeMahieu, Judge, and Stanton guaranteed here in the bottom of the first. First pitch is a fastball right down Broadway, swung on and missed by DJ. That's strike 1. Pitching wins championships? Yes, it sure does. And the Yankees, they have depth to their rotation and a lot of different guys they can go to when necessary. But right now, we still need to see them deliver early on in the season. Last year, a 60-game span. Weird for everyone. A lot of guys struggled, whether they were a pitcher or a hitter. It was just really and be a reliant arm for this team. So LeMahieu with the ground ball back up the middle, and that's going to be out number 1. Aaron Judge, first pitch of the at-bat is taken for a ball. The second also going to miss downstairs. It is 2-0. So LeMahieu down on a ground ball. Aaron Judge up in the box. He's got 4 home runs and 8 runs batted in the early stages of 2021. This one catches the outer third for a called strike. Judge still ahead in the count, but he's protected a little bit more tonight with Giancarlo Stanton hitting directly behind him. It's LeMahieu, Judge, Stanton as your top 3 guys in the order. And Judge will wave and miss at a fastball outside at 96. It's 2-2. Ian Anderson, 8 pitches on the day entering this evening. 3 games pitched, no wins, no losses, and a 4.7 ERA. Judge softly grounds this to the left side. Austin Riley picks it up. Strong throw over to first base, and that is going to be out number 2. So a 5-3 put out, and there are 2 men away. Slow roller in on the grass. Austin Riley picks it up with his glove hand. Makes a strong toss over to Freddie Freeman. And there is the out. The Yankees just need to stop swinging for the fences. Yeah, I mean, it really is that simple. If they're just trying to get base hits, I think they can have a little bit more success at the plate. You have guys who are hitting for home runs and hitting for power, but they're not even hitting home runs. The Yankees as a team haven't had a whole lot of guys with those big power numbers to begin the first 15, 16 games of the year. I mean, tonight, Aaron Judge enters with 4 home runs, Stanton 3, Urshela 2, Gary Sanchez 2. Other than that, everyone else has 1 home run or less. But Stanton gonna drill this one to left field. Marcell Ozuna with a nice leaping grab. And that is out number 3, a line out to left. So both pitchers, Ian Anderson and Corey Kluber, get the first 3 men they face to go down in order. The first inning is over. No hits, no runs for either team. And we head to the second. So we go to top 2. It's going to be Travis d'Arnaud, Ozzie Albies, and Pablo Sandoval for the visiting Atlanta Braves. Don't worry, the Mets are struggling with their offense and runners in scoring position. I mean, yeah, that's another thing that the Yankees are having a rough time with as well. Hitting with runners in scoring position just was non-existent for this club a little while ago. They really struggled at the plate. They started the year off with a decent record, and then they lost 5 in a row. They're now at the bottom of the division. They are 6-10, 5 games back of the Red Sox, 3 games back of second place, the Tampa Bay Rays. It's been a struggle for this team. To begin the year, as you were leading into the regular season, I compared the New York Yankees and New York Mets starting players by position. Maybe I should have compared the organizations and their struggles to begin the year, because both are having some similar issues earlier on. Run support for great outings of their starting pitchers. Jacob deGrom, Garrett Cole. I mean, the Yankees the other night, Garrett Cole put up a great outing and they could not come up with the win. But for the New York Mets, they do have a winning record, 7-5 through their first 12 games. They lead the NL East atop the division, a game and a half above the Philadelphia Phillies, who are 8-9. So for the New York Mets, though, this is a team who, for the first 15 games that were scheduled for the club, I believe 7 or 8 of them got postponed or canceled. To begin the year, they were supposed to open against the Washington Nationals. That series in entirety got postponed because the Nats caught COVID. Some of the players caused for contact tracing, and just it was not possible to run that set. So the Mets didn't begin the year even until a few days after most other teams were done with their first series. And then they got a few rainouts in Philadelphia, a snow postponement in Colorado. So the Mets haven't played a whole lot of games yet compared to other teams, but they do have a good record, 7-5, and they are leading the NL East. So here's to that. Throughout the first 16 games of the season, Ronald Acuna Jr., a .419 average, 7 home runs, 21 runs scored. He is absent from the Braves lineup tonight, a huge contributor to this organization. They are currently 7-10. They look to go 8-10 and avoid the sweep here against the New York Yankees. It's only a 2-game series, and after this, New York and Cleveland will battle it out for 4 games. As Atlanta goes elsewhere, but make it 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Braves' cleanup batter. On deck is Ozzie Albies. In the box, Travis d'Arnaud batting .214 with 2 homers, 9 runs batted in, and he will lay off this one outside. It's 2-2. If we go ahead and take a look at Corey Kluber's pitch mix here. Just a second, Travis d'Arnaud sends one to left field, but there is Clint Frazier camping underneath, and that will be out number 1 of the inning. So back to it. the pitch mix for two-time American League Cy Young Corey Kluber. Well, he's got a 5-pitch arsenal: cutter, curveball, sinker, four-seam, and changeup. In that order is his most used pitches. So he goes to the cutter most frequently, but just right behind that is the curveball, also the sinker, fastball, changeup. Rounding things out, he does have some good exit velo out of the arm. He's throwing the ball well. If we look so far at his different pitch types and what the mile per hour is on them, 90.5 miles per hour on the sinker, the four seam 89.9. Definitely a step up for Corey Kluber. The velocity wasn't looking great towards the end of 2019 and 2020, where he only pitched a few outs before coming out of the game and ending his season with arm injuries. Rays always find a way. They sure do. And that was the storyline last year. The Tampa Bay Rays, one of the lowest teams payroll-wise in all of Major League Baseball, they make it all the way to the World Series of the American League champions and came just games away, just outs away of a World Series title. They're doing well this season. They lost Snell and Morton heading into 2021. Snell was traded to the Padres. Morton signed with the Braves. He actually pitched last night against the Yankees. He got there in free agency. And they were able to go ahead, sign Rich Hill, Mike Wacha as replacements. Chris Archer also came back, so the rotation was enhanced a little bit. The lineup's still pretty much the same. Joey Wendell's gone on a tear. Brandon Lau off to a little bit of a slow start to begin the year, but he's always a big contributing piece to their hits. And here is Ozzie Albies, the switch hitting second baseman, as he sends one into left field the other way for a single. He battled in the count going deep and then takes a breaking ball left outside down the third baseline. So it is going to be Ozzie Albies with the first hit of the night in the form of a single. Here steps Pablo Sandoval with a .333 average, 3 home runs and 7 runs batted in just 14 games. The OPS at 1.583 for Sandoval. Now, he's usually used as a pinch hitter for the Braves, as there is no universal DH in 2021, but because Atlanta is playing at an American League stadium in the New York Yankees, they do get that designated hitter back. The first pitch to Pablo is going to miss downstairs. It'll actually get past Gary Sanchez, allowing Albies to move up to second base easily on the wild pitch. So 1 ball, no strikes to Pablo. Ozzie Albies in scoring position. The 1-0, Corey Kluber to Sandoval, is swung on, hit high into right field. Coming on is Aaron Judge. He makes the catch. And a strong throw into the infield. But Ozzie Albies will not test the arm of Aaron, so he will stay at second. Sandoval flies out to right, and that is out number 2. 10% chance of rain in the Bronx tonight, 51% humidity. Winds at 18 miles per hour heading out northwest. It's a nice night game for baseball. Dansby Swanson now enters the batter's box for his first time, hitting .190 in 2021 with 1 homer and 4 RBIs. He looks to go ahead and see if he can help the Braves strike first and plate that run on second base in the form of Ozzie Albies. Albies singled on 1 out. Again, he is in scoring position. Braves looking to avoid being swept by the Yankees in 2 games. Score is currently 0-0 as you're in the top of the second with 2 outs. The 1-0 from Kluber, breaking ball on the outer third, swung on and missed for strike number 1. So the count is even now to Swanson. who starts at shortstop tonight for the Braves, batting 7th. Kluber is 26 pitches into his 4th start of the season. And this one is going to be sent to the left side of the infield. Gleyber Torres is there and makes a good throw over to Mike Ford. The strike over to first is in time for out number 3. Corey Kluber avoids any potential bumps in the road. A 1-out single from Ozzie Albies. He makes it to second but is stranded there. So it's going to be 1 hit. No runs, 1 man left on base for the Braves. We head to the home half of the 2nd. Now, the New York Yankees, their starting lineup, we didn't go through the 1 to 9 last inning. Well, let's go ahead and take you through it now. DJ LeMahieu batting leadoff at second base. Aaron Judge gets a start in right field batting second. And right behind him is designated hitter Giancarlo Stanton batting third. Gio Urshela had a huge solo home run last night against the Braves. He gets the role in the cleanup spot. So Urshela starting at third base, batting 4th. Gleyber Torres at shortstop will bat 5th. Mike Ford, newly called up to the New York Yankees. Just 3 at-bats for Ford here in the 2021 regular season. Jay Bruce announced his retirement, and Ford came up from the alternate site to replace him on the 40-man and the 26-man roster. So Ford gets the start at first base, batting 6th. Aaron Hicks, switch hitting center field, demoted, sent a little bit down in the lineup, batting 7th. He's going through some mechanical developments. Gary Sanchez, 8th, behind the plate. And Clint Frazier will bat 9th, rounding out the lineup, starting in left field over my favorite, Brett Gardner. Gardner and Frazier have been splitting a lot of time in the outfield. Clint has actually gone quite some time without an RBI. He is right behind Josh Naylor for the most plate appearances without an RBI in consecutive order. Frazier batting 162, 37 at-bats, no home runs, no RBIs, and a 460 OPS. He really was looking good in 2020, short time frame. Only a 60-game season, but the glove definitely was a little bit better. The glove work in the outfield, getting some time in left and right field. The bat was heating up. This year, he is struggling offensively, but so are many Yankee sluggers. So in the bottom of the first, DJ LeMahieu went down on a ground ball. Aaron Judge, similar fashion, grounded out to third base, and Giancarlo Stanton lined out to left fielder Marcell Ozuna. Gio Urshela steps in, and he will check his swing on a curveball down in the dirt against Ian Anderson. That's going to be ball 1. So Urshela gets the starting job at third base. He will bat cleanup tonight. He had a big solo home run against the Braves last evening to straightaway center field, tie things up at 1-1. The Yankees would then score 2 more runs in the 8th inning. And that would be the difference maker. It was 3-1, your final. New York, 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. The Atlanta Braves had 6 hits, 1 run, no errors committed as well. Urshela sends this one the other way. But in right field is Adrianza, and he will make the catch for out number 1. Hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you for being here today, taking the time out. It is Braves at Yankees. The score tied at 0-0 in the bottom of the 2nd. Gleyber Torres is stepping in for his first time around. How long will I be live for? Well, hopefully the entire game. That is always the goal, unless something comes up unexpectedly midway through. But I should be good for all 9 innings tonight of the Braves and Yankees game 2 of the set. It's also the series finale. So the goal, 3.5 hours, however long it takes for this game to come to a close. And that is how long I will be live for. Gleyber Torres batting 182 on the season. Struggled last year a lot, and in August, towards the end of August and early September, he got the average up into the 200s, but was not hitting for power. The RBI total just really wasn't there. On base slugging, it was all low. Down in the count, he singles it right back up the middle and will be aboard for the New York Yankees. That's the first hit tonight for the home team. A 1-out single will now bring up Mike Ford against the right-handed Ian Anderson. So here is Mike Ford. Yesterday he made his season debut with the New York Yankees. Now the Yankees were really trying to craft together a lineup for a lot of games in 2021 where they were trying to figure out who was going to play first base. Of course, just days before the season started, Luke Voit went down on the 10-day IL, starting first baseman typically for the New York Yankees, and also last year's Major League Baseball home run leader. He went down on injury. Still no real updates on him yet. I don't know when he is set to return, if he has a timetable in place. That's currently not known, at least to the general public. And we're 16 games. This is the 17th game of the season, so waiting to see what's up with Luke Voit. Without his presence, the Yankees initially went to Jay Bruce, who they signed to a minor league deal this winter. Bruce has had a great career, especially earlier on with a couple of different teams. He had a lot of success. He was top 5 in active players and leading home runs with 319. He hit one in pinstripes at Yankee Stadium. And then I believe it was Sunday against the Tampa Bay Rays. The final game of the series was his final game ever in Major League Baseball. He did announce his retirement. So congrats to Jay Bruce on an amazing career. A lot of Yankees fans may not have had the Jay Bruce experience they wished for. He did struggle greatly at the plate. And as the starting first baseman, Mike Ford dribbles this down the first baseline. Ian Anderson will get to the ball and just go the easy way over to first for the out. So it essentially goes down as a swinging bunt for Mike Ford. Gleyber Torres makes his way up to second base. A fielder's choice will retire Ford. That is 1-3 in the scorebook. And Aaron Hicks will step up now into the box. So yeah, the Yankees definitely struggled with first basemen. Jay Bruce didn't do well, so then their thought right after that was to say, hey, we have DJ LeMahieu, versatile infielder, can play first, second, or third. Let's put him at first base. Now, of course, that's great. DJ can easily take on that position, just he's not the best there with the glove. So they had LeMahieu, and they traded for Rougned Odor, which was another big shock for Yankees fans. Former Texas Rangers second baseman came over to the Yankees. Didn't give up too much for him, but a guy who really has kind of leveled off at the major league level. Hasn't been too great. 3 years of 30-plus home runs. His most recent in 2019, but he hasn't been swinging the bat like usual either. So Odor was at second base for a little bit, and LeMahieu went over to first. And now finally, with Bruce and his retirement, Mike Ford seems to be the starting first baseman. Everyone back in their primary positions. And Aaron Hicks is in a 2-0 count. Hicks is a switch hitting center fielder for all of you unaware. He does bat 7th tonight for the New York Yankees. Got the off day last night. Ended up pinch hitting and scored in the 8th inning. I believe he was the go-ahead run for the Yankees. 2-0 count here. He's been working on a few things mechanically per manager Aaron Boone, as this is going to be downstairs for ball 3. I mean, Aaron Hicks, we look at his numbers, and it's just a very similar storyline for a lot of Yankees players that we're seeing. And it's a struggle in the box. Cannot hit well for high average, power, or OPS. 160 batting average, 1 home run on the year, 5 runs batted in. He was batting second, batting third, just all over the lineup for the Yankees. And Boone brought him in today, slid him in the 7th spot of the lineup, which is lower than what he's used to, but at least he's there. 3 balls and a strike to Hicks. Ian Anderson trying to work in and out of trouble. This one runs up and tight for ball 4, so Aaron Hicks works the walk. Gleyber Torres at second base. Aaron Hicks now on first. Gary Sanchez, the New York Yankees starting catcher, will have his first at-bat of the night right now. So here we are. Yankees and Patriots are the same. Well, actually, the Somerset Patriots are the new AA affiliate for the New York Yankees. So that means they'll be hosting minor leaguers. and running through the developmental process with them. Also, in addition to those minor league guys who are making their way up to the major leagues, or at least trying to, some rehab assignments may be sent down to the AA Somerset Patriots. They're a farm system for the Yankees. So Luke Voit, minor league baseball opens on May 4th this year, so just under 2 weeks away at this point. But if Luke Voit is still injured, he may find himself with the AA Somerset Patriots at some point in rehabbing, unless he's back at the major league level by then. So that is fun. But the Patriots and Yankees, they are affiliated. They won't be going against each other. They are two different levels of professional baseball. But they are within the same organization. It's no balls and a strike to Sanchez. Runners on first and second. The Yankees looking to capitalize on this early opportunity against the 22-year-old Ian Anderson. So if Gary Sanchez does get on, we'll go to Clint Frazier, who's batting ninth tonight for the Yankees, and see what he can do. Maybe pick up his first RBI of the year. So far, no balls, 2 strikes to the Yankees backstop. And struck him out, swing and miss. Gary Sanchez will offer and miss at a heater outside. That will end the inning, the first strikeout of the game, and it comes courtesy of Ian Anderson. Gary Sanchez will fall as the victim. So the Yankees did not take advantage of the Gleyber Torres one out single and Aaron Hicks 2-out walk. They strand runners at first and second. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left on base. We head to the third. Heading to the third inning, both pitchers have only surrendered 1 hit so far tonight. And Corey Kluber for the New York Yankees looking to get in the win column for his new team. This is his 4th start of the season, 4th start of 2021. But wants to get in the win column, even out his win-loss record at 1-1. Ian Anderson in the same boat, though, still without a win through his first 3 starts. He is 0-0 on the year. So we're going to the third frame here for the Atlanta Braves. It's going to be their 8, 9, and 1 batters. Austin Riley. And then we have Guillermo Heredia. Top of the order, Ahiri Adrianza. So those are your third basemen, center fielders, and right fielders tonight for the Atlanta Braves. Corey Kluber yet to record a strikeout through his first 2 innings, but 6 men retired. 7 batters faced, only 1 hit. The first pitch to Austin Riley is up and away for ball 1. This one, slider down and away. The count goes 2-0. Austin Riley at third base tonight for the Braves. Not a lot of success for him at the plate here in 2021. A 220 average, no home runs, 1 RBI, but looking to get a little more success starting with tonight right here against the New York Yankees. Now, this is a big game for the Braves. Of course, they want to start climbing the ranks in the NL East. They are currently 4th in the division, and entering the year, they were really the favorites. Them and the Mets were looking to be like the top two teams, 1 and 1A. But as of right now, currently sitting 7 and 10, Atlanta has struggled. The pitching hasn't really been there. A lot of their big sluggers too, Freeman, Ozuna, Albies, it got off to a slow start for them. So looking to get the train back on track. And Austin Riley works a very easy walk to lead off the inning. So it's Riley, Heredia, and Adrianza. Austin is on first. Guillermo steps in, a .333 average. That's 5 hits and 15 at-bats with a pair of home runs and 6 RBIs. This one is inside. The ump gives him benefit of the doubt, and that's Corey Kluber. So called strike one. Always love to go to Somerset Patriots games. Now I'm going to love it more. Most definitely. I mean, I am so happy for the Patriots and their affiliation with the New York Yankees. Great ball club. Great franchise. They deserve it. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch these AA guys come through and make their way up in the ranks in the organization. Definitely looking out for Jason Dominguez. He has yet to play a single game of professional baseball as a Yankee scout. Or not as a Yankee scout, but as a Yankee minor leaguer. So he may reach the AA level this year. We might be able to see him in Somerset. For anyone in Central Jersey or anyone in Jersey looking to make the drive. Somerset Patriots. That season starts up on May 4th, 2021, just like all minor league schedules. This one is sent out to left field. Running in is Clint Frazier. He camps under it, and the catch is made. That is the first out here of the third. So a leadoff walk, 1 out now, and we go to the top of the order. Corey Kluber just looking to get out of the inning unscathed. It's been a relatively quick and quiet game. No hits in the first inning for either team. And Albies gets it going for the Braves in the second. Gleyber Torres got on board with the single in the second for New York. And here we are now. Adrianza is a switch hitting right fielder who will bat from the left side. American League Cy Young Award. 2-time Cy Young Award Corey Kluber. Working at a really good pace right now for the Yankees. This is a bunt attempt that will go foul for strike number 1. Adrianza, the goal is to get Riley in scoring position for the heart of the order. Freeman, Ozuna, d'Arnaud with 2 outs. Either of those guys are capable of doing some damage. d'Arnaud really had a great outing offensively last year. Ever since he joined the Atlanta Braves coming over from the New York Mets, he found himself in a great rhythm offensively. And just that has continued and transitioned into this year. The average is a little low, 214, but 2 home runs and 9 runs batted in for the Braves starting catcher. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, and a runner on first. The batter, Adrianza, does not show bunt. He will take a pitch. Bell tie for a called strike, so it's 1-2. On deck, Freddie Freeman, who is guaranteed an at-bat here in the third unless Adrianza rolls into a double play. So we should see Freddie Freeman come up for the second time here in the third frame. This one will miss downstairs, another breaking ball from Kluber. If we look at his usage percentage, this season, Corey Kluber, 27.7% of the time he's throwing his cutter, 27.2%. The curveball, 25.8% usage of the sinker. The four-seam, not used very often, 12.3%, and the remainder of that is going to be his changeup. A nice 5-pitch mix for Kluber, who was in his prime, the 2014 to 2017 seasons with the Cleveland Indians. Of course, won his Cy Young Awards in the bookend of that span, 2014 and 2017, respectively. Now, Kluber was actually drafted back in the 4th round of the '07 draft. He was the 134th overall selection chosen by the San Diego Padres. And here's Clint Frazier, who makes a terrific diving catch, throws the ball into Mike Ford, and it gets away from him. So Austin Riley remains at first base. He is kneeling now, seeing if maybe diving back into the bag, he busted his arm or something. But Frazier, a really nice grab in left field, Superman type catch, throws it in. The throw into Mike Ford at first base was a little wild, and it was the ball now. And further notice here, the ball actually ricocheted off of Riley's arm, and it went all the way to the wall. Ford does not get to the ball in a quick fashion, but at the same time, Austin Riley does not take advantage of the pass ball and make it a second. So it is going to be 2 outs, and Riley remains at first base now for the 2-hole hitter, Freddie Freeman. Line out to left field. Great play by Clint Frazier, who was in the running for the Gold Glove last year. He did not win it, but it's nice to be in the conversation. Maybe that's something he can continue to work towards. Who's catching for the New York Yankees today? Well, it's going to be Gary Sanchez. He's not only catching, but also batting 8th. And Freddie Freeman's first pitch of the second at-bat will begin with the ball upstairs. Freeman flew out back in the first, batting .230 on the season. 5 home runs, 10 runs batted in. 2 away here. And the Braves still looking to go ahead and get an early lead. If you want to win this game and you're the Atlanta Braves right now, you need to score while Corey Kluber is still on the mound. The New York Yankees bullpen has been extremely dominant. Last night alone, no earned runs through 4 innings of work. Multiple different pitchers coming in for relief. And, some of them didn't even give up hits in the time they were present on the bump. Aroldis Chapman especially. This year, he was able to develop a split finger. He's got 5 strikeouts with that one pitch selection. One of the best fastballs in the game at one point in his career. Nasty stuff on the breaking ball. This split finger is devastating. And was able to come in, get the save for the Yankees last night. They won it 3-1 and broke their 5-game losing streak. Puts New York at a 6-10 win-loss record. Looking to go 7-10 here with tonight's game. 3-1 to Freddie Freeman. That's going to be a called strike. Freeman started to walk down the first baseline a little bit inside, but Corey Kluber gets the benefit of the doubt, so the count now goes full. Kluber at 46 pitches, 2 2/3 innings. He's allowed 1 hit and 1 walk. No strikeouts, but there we go. Freddie Freeman again takes a step down the first baseline, looking for ball 4, and the home plate umpire will ring him up looking. So just like that, Corey Kluber now has his first strikeout of the game. 1 strikeout, 1 hit, 1 walk for tonight's Yankees starter through 3. Freeman went down looking. That ends the third. So the 2 base runners that the Braves have had so far tonight have both got stranded once that third out has been made. Ozzie Albies was caught up at second base when Swanson grounded out to end the second. And Austin Riley still at first after a leadoff walk when Freddie Freeman struck out looking, heading to the bottom of the third. So now for the New York Yankees, it's going to be Clint Frazier, then top of your order, DJ LeMahieu and Aaron Judge. Yeah, so Freddie Freeman, he thought he got the walk right there. A few borderline pitches, the home plate umpire was working east and west for Corey Kluber, who was consistently going inside and outside of the zone to try to get Freddie Freeman retired, and he's successful with that tactic. Now, the home plate ump has been generous behind the plate tonight, calling a little bit north, south, east, and west of the typical strike zone. But it's been fairly consistent and nothing too extravagant. Like, it's not well off the plate in any of those circumstances. Freddie Freeman does go down looking. Twice he thought he was able to work the walk, and neither time was he correct. So, of course, for me now, if you guys did watch my fantasy baseball video when I dissected my draft picks and my overall team, I'm trying to see who I have in my starting lineup tonight, and it's 3 Atlanta Braves batters: Freddie Freeman, Marcell Ozuna, and Ozzie Albies. I'm in a tough spot because I don't want the Yankees to lose, but at the same time, I need hits from these guys and home runs and runs and RBIs. So definitely a double-edged sword for me as I'm watching this game. I was in the same boat last night where I was like, come on, I need them to do something, but at the same time, like, nothing too crazy so that the Yankees can still win, because this is my team no matter what. And Clint Frazier, with a smile on his face, will see a strike to begin his at-bat. He has a .040 average in his last 8 games. He's 1 for 25. So talk about a cold streak. Clint Frazier not having a great last few outings. Last 25 at-bats, only 1 hit. And make it 1 for 26. This has popped up in foul territory. Travis d'Arnaud is there just right in front of the Yankees dugout for out number 1. So pop up to the catcher is good for the first out. Ian Anderson working for the Braves through 2 1/3. He's now 23 years old. And if we look at the defense behind Anderson tonight for the Atlanta Braves, Austin Riley, Dansby Swanson, Ozzie Albies, and Freddie Freeman from left to right in the infield. That's from third base to first base. Left, guarding the outfield, is Ahiri Adrianza. He'll be in right, and Guillermo Heredia is the starting center fielder. Of course, Ronald Acuna Jr. is absent with injury. He is out for right now of the Atlanta Braves, and that's a huge loss for this team. He was hitting over 400 with 21 runs scored through 16 games this season. So hopefully he'll be back soon for the sake of Atlanta. Ronald Acuna Jr., young stud, one of the many faces of baseball today. The count is 1-2 to DJ LeMahieu, who grounded out to shortstop back in the first. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, and this one will miss downstairs. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball going to run inside at 95. The count goes full. This is Ian Anderson's 4th game of the season, 10th of his career. LeMahieu fouls it back. The count remains. Now, Ian actually made his Major League Baseball debut last season on August 26, 2020 in 9 games at the Major League level, 3 wins, 2 losses, and a 2.83 earned run average, striking out 60 batters in 47 2/3 innings, and a whip at 1.20. Before tonight's start, his ERA was 4.7, no wins, no losses in 3 games, and LeMahieu rolls over to third baseman Austin Riley. That's good for out number 2. So another ground ball from DJ means there are 2 away now for Aaron Judge. Now Judge gets the protection from Giancarlo Stanton with tonight's New York Yankee lineup. What that means essentially is when you're facing the meat of the order like this, your 2, 3, 4 guys, the heart of any given lineup, these are going to be your better hitters. And if you're Ian Anderson right now, you know that Giancarlo Stanton is on deck. He's up next. At any point, he can hit a home run and have a devastating result on the hurler. Same thing goes for Aaron Judge, but if you don't want to face Stanton, you have to pitch to Aaron Judge. Give him something that you can maybe use to get out of the inning. And if you accidentally leave a pitch over the zone, Aaron Judge can go yard. He's already done it 4 times this season. 8 runs batted in. Essentially, you're not trying to walk Aaron Judge. You need to throw him strikes and try to get the out to end the inning. And so Giancarlo Stanton does not come up with anyone on base. Of course, with Judge and Stanton, 2 guys of extreme power, they can both easily at any given moment hit home runs and give the Yankees a lead in this particular scenario. But essentially how the protection works is you don't want to pitch to Stanton, so you have to pitch to Judge. And it's a scary thing for the New York Yankees when these hitters are hot. But right now, Aaron Judge batting .259, Giancarlo Stanton a .170 batting average. The Yankees right fielder is in a full count with 2 away, no one on base. You know Stanton's up, so you have to think this is going to be a competitive pitch. Giancarlo 0 for 1. Now, previously in the season, manager Aaron Boone has split up Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton with a number 3 hole hitter. Judge would bat second, Stanton cleanup. And you had Aaron Hicks batting third, Brett Gardner batting third, which is a little bit of a surprise. And it will be ball 4 to Aaron Judge. It misses down and in. So he's aboard via the free pass. And here comes Giancarlo Stanton, who had a hard line drive to left field back in the first frame. Judge on first, 2 outs in a scoreless ball game, right down the middle, knee high. That's going to be called strike 1. 3 home runs and 12 runs batted in for Stanton this year, as the umpire calls a brief timeout. The 0-1 delivery to the Yankees cleanup batter. He's going to dribble it to the right side of the infield. There's Ozzie Albies. The easy throw over to first base is in time, and that will end it for the inning. So Aaron Judge, the 2-out walk does not come back to bite Ian Anderson. It is a 4-3 ground out. No hits, no runs, 1 man left on base for the Yankees. We head to the 4th. This game is chugging along. We are just about at that 1 hour mark in the stream. So we head to the top of the 4th with very little action in this game. It is a bit of a pitcher's duel. Your 3, 4, 5 batters will be due up for the Braves. That's Ozuna, d'Arnaud, and Albies respectively. And I am getting notified here. Byron Buxton of the Minnesota Twins has homered. And it was a 2-run home run for the Minnesota Twins outfielder, which is great for me because, again, you're going to see a common trend when I bring up guys like this, but Byron Buxton is on the fantasy team. Big there. I have actually Nelson Cruz and Byron Buxton. Combined, they have 3 home runs and 6 RBIs on the day, which is a wonderful thing. It's Twins and A's. Minnesota at Oakland. The score is 12-10 in the top of the 10th. The A's are at risk of losing an 11-game win streak. Hello to everyone in the stream. Thank you for joining here today. It's a 0-0 score. Atlanta Braves and New York Yankees. We head to the 4th. And there really hasn't been a whole lot of action here. The Yankees and Braves have been held to very few hits in Anderson. Hurler for the visiting Atlanta Braves. Corey Kluber got the ball for the home New York Yankees tonight. He has struck out 1 batter, allowing 1 hit and only walking 1 guy as well. So Kluber having a nice little start here. I also got Max Scherzer, who picked up the win. It was a 1-0 game Against the St. Louis Cardinals, Scherzer struck out 9, 6 innings pitched. That's what we love to see. Hector Neris got the win. That's a reliever for the Philadelphia Phillies. Struck out 2 batters. The Phillies won 6-5 over the Giants. A very nice day for me here in Yahoo Fantasy Baseball. Let me know if you guys are in the stream and you guys have your fantasy leagues, who your top performers are, who your sleeper picks are for this year. And first pitch that Ozuna sees of the inning will result in a ground ball to Gio Urshela. It's a 5-3 putout. So back to this ball game here. Travis d'Arnaud steps in for his second time. He flew out back in the second, dropping his average to 211 on the year. He is in that number 4 spot for the Braves in the lineup. Now the order does look significantly different than it has in many other games this calendar year. Typically, you're going to see Ronald Acuna Jr. at the top of the lineup. He's out with injury right now. And then Ozzie Albies, Freddie Freeman 3rd, Marcell Ozuna 4, d'Arnaud 5. Right now, Ozzie Albies got bumped down to the 5th slot. He's struggling. 148 average, 2 homers, 8 RBIs before the start of this game. Freddie Freeman batting 233, Ozuna hitting 219. So the Braves are trying to figure out what's going to help them the most. They're 7-10 on the season. If they lose tonight, they lose the series against the Yankees. But they can even it up at 1 win apiece before they move on to their next set. 2 balls and a strike. Corey Kluber delivers to Travis d'Arnaud, and that is right down Broadway for strike number 2. Corey only at 52 pitches. Now, he is actually yet to make it to the 5th inning of a ball game in pinstripes. Corey Kluber, all of his previous outings, his 3 previous outings, he has gone 4 innings or less. So, he's on track right now to make it to the 5th inning, maybe even the 6th. Looking good. 1 strikeout, 1 walk. He's got good stuff against the Atlanta Braves tonight, silencing them early on. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Travis d'Arnaud fouls it back, and the count remains. Now, Kluber made his Major League Baseball debut with the team he'd end up winning 2 Cy Youngs with, the Cleveland Indians. His first appearance at the Major League level was September 1st of 2011. Here he is a decade later, pitching for the New York Yankees. After also a little bit of time with the Texas Rangers, he was traded. Delino Shields Jr. was one of the big toppers that Cleveland received. Very weird trade. I remember when that all went through, and I was getting the Ken Rosenthal and Jeff Passan notifications on Twitter. Ended up making the video for YouTube, the trade recap and overview, and I was just like baffled by the decision. Of course, that was the first of very many moves and departures that we'd see from the Cleveland franchise. They would trade Trevor Bauer, Francisco Lindor, Carlos Carrasco, Mike Clevenger. So, you know, it's been a very weird past few seasons for the Indians. They are looking to rebuild, but they've lost a lot of superstar talent in the process, and that is a line drive speared at first baseman Mike Ford. The ball goes through his glove, but he does make the catch. It was like caught right in the webbing behind his fingers for out number 2. So a sharp line out to first off the bat of Travis d'Arnaud makes it out number 2. Here's the switch hitting Ozzie Albies. So for the second time, he is going to bat left-handed with the right-handed Corey Kluber on the mound. Albies singled back in the second, and that still to this point in the game has been the Braves' only hit, and one of only 2 base runners, the other being Austin Riley on a walk. So once this half inning comes to a close, I'll go ahead and give you guys scores around the league, which is something I like to do pretty often in these streams. So typically when the game is paused, at a commercial break or whatever, I'll go in and let you guys know how all the other teams in Major League Baseball are performing. The live scores, everything that's going on. Final scores, you already talked about the Nationals and the Cardinals. Max Scherzer got the win, 6 innings, 9 strikeouts. Washington edged out St. Louis 1-0. This is going to be a called strike too. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes now to the second baseman. And if you're Yankees fans, this is the outing you want to see out of Corey Kluber. This pitch is going to miss upstairs, so it's 2-2. But 3 2/3 innings, 60 pitches, no earned runs, only 2 base runners, 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. You have to be happy with that. And when the Yankees are giving him $11 million for 1 season, I think you're going to take this as his best game and build off of it in the future. This pitch is going to run inside, so the count now goes full, and Corey Kluber starting to lose him here. It went from 1-2 to full, and Albies is in a good hitter's count here in the top of the 4th with 2 away. He pops it up. Shallow center field, in runs Aaron Hicks and Aaron Judge, but it'll be Judge who makes the squeeze for out number 3. So a fly out to right. The Braves go down in order. 3, 4, 5. No hits, no runs, no base runners. We head to the home half of the 4th. As this game is still tied, the New York Yankees look to Gio Urshela, tonight's cleanup batter, who will lead off the home half of the 4th. Then it'll be followed up by Gleyber Torres and Mike Ford batting 5th and 6th. Urshela lined out to right back in the 2nd. Torres singled, and Mike Ford grounded back to the pitcher. So for your scores around the league, the Blue Jays and Red Sox are just getting ready to begin their game. It's a battle of 2 AL East teams. The Red Sox currently number 1 in the division. The Mets and Cubs are just getting underway. The Pittsburgh Pirates and Detroit Tigers are tied at 1 run apiece. Bottom of the 10th inning, it's extras in Oakland. The Twins lead the Athletics 12-10. Very high scoring game. The Brewers and Padres in the bottom of the 9th. Milwaukee leads 4-2. The Diamondbacks and Reds are scoreless through 2.5 innings. The Rays and Royals will begin at 8:10 Eastern. And that is it for your games either underway or just beginning. For your games that have already been completed today, the Giants lost to the Phillies by a score of 6-5. The Marlins beat Baltimore 3-0. The first game of the Pirates-Tigers doubleheader went in Pittsburgh's favor. They won by a score of 3-2. And the Houston Astros, who were one of the hottest teams in Major League Baseball the first 6-7 games of the season, advanced to 7-10 as they dropped this game to the Rockies 6-3 the final. The Angels lost to the Rangers 7-4. The Diamondbacks beat the Reds 5-4. And the White Sox and Indians were postponed because of inclement weather. So there are your scores around Major League Baseball. Of course, here in New York at the Bronx, it is 0-0. And the team in pinstripes looks to break the scoreless tie. Here in the bottom of the 4th, Gio Urshela will get things going. A nice home run off his bat last night. His 2nd of the year. And his 7th run batted in this season. Ian Anderson back out on the mound will loop in a curveball for strike 1. And here is the bottom of the 4th. Now for Ian Anderson, his arsenal consists of a 4-seam fastball, changeup, curveball, and sinker. He does not resort to that sinker very often. He frequents it 1.1% of the 2021 season. It is still very early on. But Urshela will see strike 2. The 4-seam fastball is his most common pitch, using it 45.8% of the time. And Urshela taps it right back up the middle, out of the reach of Ian Anderson. In comes Dansby Swanson. The throw to Freeman is not in time, so it's an infield single for Gio Urshela. And that might be what sparks the rally for this New York Yankees team. It's a leadoff base hit, and here comes Gleyber Torres. So as Anderson followed through with his pitch release, his momentum brought him the other way, needed for him to actually go ahead and pick up that ground ball. Swanson charges it, makes a strong throw to first baseman Freddie Freeman, but it's going to just miss beating out Gio Urshela to the base. So it's the leadoff single. Here's Gleyber Torres, 1-for-1 on the day, and he's going to ground it to Dansby Swanson. Urshela prevents the double play. A sharp slide into second base. Ozzie Albies and Urshela exchange smiles. The double play is avoided, but not by much. It's a fielder's choice for Gleyber Torres. He will switch places with Gio Urshela. So it's 6-4 on the ground. Outfielder's choice allows Torres to make it to first. He's now 1-for-2 on the day. And Mike Ford will step in for his 5th time of the season, 2nd time of the game, still searching for his first hit. Now, Ford, not only is he going to be a guy who's had playing time with the Major League Baseball Yankees, but he's also a left-handed bat, which is crucial for this organization. You look at all their big names: LeMahieu, Judge, Stanton, Urshela, Torres, Sanchez, Frazier, all right-handed sticks. So you get in Mike Ford every so often. Aaron Hicks is a switch hitter. Brett Gardner, left-handed bat. You know, those are really your only guys that you're going to get swinging from the left side. Then you, of course, have Mike Tauchman, Tyler Wade when he's at the Major League Baseball level. If he's getting ABs, he's left-handed. But for the most part, your everyday starters are right-handed sluggers. And for Ford, well, his hitless streak will continue as he sends it to the outfield for out number 2. Torres at first in is Aaron Hicks, a 160 batting average, 1 home run, 5 RBIs. He walked back in the 2nd and looks to extend the bottom of the 4th here. Francisco Lindor has hit a solo home run in the top of the 1st inning. The Mets now lead the Cubs 1-0. This ball is driven deep into center field, but at the warning track, making the catch is Guillermo Heredia. We head to the top of the 5th. 5 hits in last night's game, 3 runs. Both teams have struggled offensively. The Braves and the Yankees, that is. And I don't know if it's that still now here in this game, or if Corey Kluber and Ian Anderson are just super dominant on the mound and they're really fooling their opponents. So for the 5th inning, it'll be designated hitter Pablo Sandoval, Dansby Swanson, and Austin Riley, who all come up for the Braves. See if any one of them can have some success in the batter's box, maybe help the Braves pick up their first win. Their first run, and then lead them to the win. Sorry, I just registered that there. But right now, we're looking back at scores around the league because the Twins and A's were in the bottom of the 10th. We'll see if that's changed. The Blue Jays in the top of the 1st. It's 1-0 Toronto. They also have guys occupying 1st and 2nd with no outs. So the Red Sox off to an early disadvantage. Runners on 1st and 2nd for Oakland. Down to their last out. No, it's now bases loaded. And Elvis Andrus will come up. So a single there can tie it back up in the bottom of the 10th. I'm going to go ahead and put the game day on so I can kind of see what's going on with this Twins and Oakland game as it maybe closes out or heads to the 11th. We'll find out together. But back to Braves and Yankees. It's going to be a leadoff base hit for Pablo Sandoval down the right field line. Aaron Judge cuts it off and gets it in. So Sandoval with a leadoff knock. And the Braves are back in the hit column. Pablo Sandoval, not a guy that makes it to the everyday starting lineup for the Braves typically. He is a corner infielder, He's used a lot out of that pinch hit roll off the bench. He has 3 home runs on the season. And entering tonight, only 12 at-bats, 4 hits, 3 of them homers. So he's definitely had a great stride of success in the batter's box. And that's going to continue here. He's given the opportunity to fulfill the DH spot. And Elvis Andrus connects on a pitch. Runs do result. So let's see how this score changes. Twins 12, A's 10. Swanson will swing and miss. It's 1-1 to the Braves shortstop. And Paulo Sandoval at first. So Andrus walked. It said it was in play, so I'm assuming that's a hit by pitch right there. Elvis Andrus walks. Matt Chapman to third. Tony Kemp to second. And it's 12-11. The Twins and the A's are in the bottom of the 10th. 23 runs scored combined. And the A's are down to their last out. They're trailing by 1, but the bases are juiced. 1-2 to Swanson. That's a great pitch by Corey Kluber. Upset he didn't get the call. He painted the corner up and away perfectly. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Sandoval still at first. Alex Colomé on the mound for the Twins, looking to close out the game and get the save. He has a 5.63 ERA on the season. So, of course, last year he was the closer for the Chicago White Sox. Hit free agency this year. And once the White Sox signed Liam Hendricks, they're like, hey, we don't need to bring Colomé back anymore because we have one of the best relievers in the game. So, Alex went out to Minnesota, and it's not treating him well early on. Two balls, 2 strikes to Swanson. Trying to juggle a bunch of different screens at once here. I got the Yankees game on. I've got my phone showing the Minnesota Twins and Oakland A's game day charts. I've got the stream going. I got my software running on my monitor next to me. But I love baseball season. We're here. It's a few weeks in, and no better time. Dansby Swanson will check his swing. The home plate umpire says he does indeed go around, so that will be strike 3. And Kluber notches his second strikeout of the game. This time, Dansby Swanson is the victim. So 1 out. Sandoval still occupying first base, and Austin Riley will step in. The A's are down to their last strike. Ramon Laureano up. He's 0 for 4 on the day. Colomé 1 strike away from getting the save. This is a crazy game between the Twins and the A's. 2 powerhouse teams. So Kluber, his first pitch to Austin Riley is going to be a strike. And last time this matchup took place was back in the 3rd, where the third baseman drew a walk. Kluber effectively going to hit the outside edge of the strike zone for called strike 2. And there we go. 4 foul balls in a row from Colomé to Laureano. He's trying to stay alive. It's a 1-2 count. A's have bases loaded, and they are trailing by 1. 1 strike left in this game. It's 12-11 Minnesota. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Austin Riley. And Corey Kluber with his 75th pitch of the game will have 1 miss downstairs. Count is even. So yeah, Riley, last time that great diving catch by Clint Frazier. The throw in, I thought it hit his arm, but it actually caught Austin Riley like right at the chin. So that's why he remained at first on the passed ball. Came up, bounced off the ground, and made direct contact with his face. But he seems to be okay. He's still in the game. This one's going to miss outside. The count is full. 5 foul balls in a row now from Colome to Laureano. Ramon not going down without a fight. Wants to help drive his team to their 12th straight victory. That's the Minnesota Twins and Oakland A's. But right now, it's going to be another walk to Austin Riley. So he is 0 for 0 on the day with a pair of walks. And we have some more runs in this game. Twins and A's. It's not over yet. Colome was just 1 strike away. I'm feeling bad for him. The ERA is very high. For a reliever, you get into a few bad rounds and you are for right now. Sandoval at second. Austin Riley at first. A 1-1 count to Heredia with 1 away. Hello to everyone in the chat and in the stream. How are you guys doing on this Wednesday evening? Braves and Yankees baseball, we are tied. No runs apiece in the top of the 5th. Guillermo will take a pitch up and away. Kluber is not getting that call anymore. It's right on the black, up and away, the top corner of the strike zone. And it's going to go to ball 2. Nick Nelson warming up in the bullpen for the Yankees. Now, Kluber made it to the 5th inning. See if he can complete it for the first time as a New York Yankee hurler. But it's now 3 balls and a strike, and the top of the order is due up. So Nelson warming up. Corey Kluber gets just a quick mound visit. You know, get him a breath, calm him down a little bit. He's at risk of working back-to-back walks. And Heredia's like, hey, well, you know what? I'm going to wave and miss this pitch down and away. So the count's full. And we'll try it again. The count is full. Kluber to the number 9 batter here for Atlanta. It's gonna be ball 4. Looked like a sinker that missed well south of the strike zone. Back-to-back walks. The Braves have bases loaded. And only 1 out. That 1 out came on a Dansby Swanson strikeout swinging. The Oakland A's have advanced to 12 consecutive wins on the season, which is insane. They, entering this year, it's kind of like, well, hey, what is this team capable of? The pitching looks a little weak. The offense is the same it's been the past few seasons, with the exception of Marcus Semien no longer being there and his replacement being Elvis Andrus. Of course, a few other guys departed as well, Robbie Grossman being one of them. But yeah, so good for Oakland. 12 wins in a row. Off to a slow start to begin the year, I believe. Swept by the Houston Astros through 4 games. They were struggling, and now they're climbing the ranks. One of the best teams in Major League Baseball at the moment. The Oakland A's are 12-7. Sorry, 11 game win streak. So 12-7 for the A's. Their last 10 have gone without a loss. That's insane. The best 10 game span of any team in Major League Baseball. The Dodgers, best team in the game right now, 14-4. The Milwaukee Brewers lead the Central 11-7. The Mets are atop the NL East at 7-5. The A's 12-7 are number one in the West, out in the American League. How about this? The Kansas City Royals, with a 9-7 win-loss record, are at the very top of the AL Central. And for the East, in the American League, it's the Boston Red Sox, 12-6. 0-2 count, checks the swing. Does he go around? No, he does not, says the third base umpire. So Ehire Adrianza goes to 1-2. Bases are juiced. There is one out. Freddie Freeman on deck. The New York Yankees defense for tonight. If I didn't bring it up already, Mike Ford at first base, DJ LeMahieu at second, Gio Urshela at third, and the other middle infielder is Gleyber Torres at shortstop. Adrianza sends it to center. That should be deep enough for a sac fly. Aaron Hicks throws it into the cutoff man, and Pablo Sandoval will score. So it's a sac fly for Adrianza, who flew out to center field. Pablo Sandoval scores, and there's your first run of the ball game. The Braves lead 1-0. Bases still loaded, this time with 2 outs for Freddie Freeman. So this is specifically where I'm like, well, Freddie Freeman, how I would love... Sorry, bases are not loaded. It's first and second 2 outs because of the sac fly. But how I would love a 3-run home run from Freddie Freeman for fantasy baseball's sake, because that would help in so many different categories. It would help in hits, average, runs, RBIs, home runs. It's like I'm checking almost every box. And, if that is indeed the case, and Freddie does hit a home run, the Yankees go down 4-0, which is a significant deficit. So we'll see. As a Yankees fan, I don't want to see them down at all, but for fantasy baseball's sake, it's like, well, Freddie Freeman, if you just happen to throw one over the short porch in right field, I wouldn't be mad at you. So it's going to be 2-0. Corey Kluber cannot really find the strike zone here deep into the 5th inning. 89 pitches. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. Sandoval scored. He singled to lead off the inning. Swanson struck out swinging. Austin Riley walked. Guillermo Heredia walked. And Ehire Adrianza had a sac fly to center field. So here we are. Freddie Freeman now. 3 balls and a strike. Fastball going to miss upstairs. So it's 3-0. A great hitter's count if he has the green light. If not, we'll see what he can do and work in this AB. Marcell Ozuna is on deck. Corey Kluber at 90 pitches. And Nick Nelson still warming up in the bullpen. But that is going to end it for this at-bat. Freddie Freeman works a walk on 4 pitches. The inning continues. Now the bases are loaded as Riley moves up to third, Heredia second, and Freddie Freeman gets issued the free pass. Corey Kluber, 91 pitches, 4 2/3 innings. If you don't look at the 5th inning, he had a great outing. If you don't look at the 5th frame, he did very, very well. With only 1 hit, 1 walk, and a strikeout. But now, if you include the 5th inning, which you have to because it happened, it's 1 hit on the inning, 3 walks, and a run. So Kluber struggled towards the end there. Could not record the final out of the 5th, and that will end his night. Nick Nelson coming in out of the bullpen for relief. So let's pull up Nick Nelson's stats here. In 2021, 4 games, no wins, 2 losses, and a 10.80 ERA. He has started 1 game, striking out 10 batters in 5 innings and a 2.00 whip. So Nelson, a 10.8 ERA. Before, just moments ago, when you're a reliever, it's it's a little hard to get that earned run average down significantly after a really bad outing or two. And in Nick Nelson's case, 4 games, a 10.8 ERA. Granted, it will go down, but it's never going to be like, a very clean number coming out of the bullpen. And the Yankees don't necessarily need that from him. But his opponent batting average against is .318 this season. Kluber only allowed 1 run. Why take him out? He had 3 walks in the 5th and a strikeout. He loaded the bases. I think it was just a precaution. He's also never made it this far into the 5th inning. He's over 90 pitches. And you're really trying to limit any more runs that come across the plate for the Braves. So if you're the New York Yankees pitching coach and you see that Kluber has walked 3 guys in the inning and 3 guys almost consecutively, it does raise eyebrows. So he gave up 1 run, but if any of the guys on base right now scored, that affects his ERA, and he is responsible for them. So on paper, technically right now, yes, he's only allowed 1 run, but he's also put the Yankees in a situation where they need to get out of this as quickly as possible. And with 3 walks in 1 inning and 1 hit in this inning as well, you maybe don't want to leave him in anymore, and that's exactly what they were thinking. This one's going to miss downstairs from Nick Nelson to Marcell Ozuna, so it's 2-0. Bases are loaded. There are 2 away. I see what you mean, but it was just 1 bad inning and there were 2 outs anyway. Yeah, I mean, it was very close. I definitely get the flip side of things. Where it's like, yeah, well, now you're throwing Nick Nelson out there for an out or so, hoping he can just get the out right away. And now he's struggling. He can't even find the zone. It's 3 balls, no strikes. So, this is rough right here. Corey Kluber definitely could have stayed in, given 1 more batter. Just, he looked like he was at a wear and tear point in this game. And Nick Nelson walks Marcell Ozuna on 4 pitches. So it's an RBI walk for Marcell. 2-0 game, the Atlanta Braves lead. And that run goes against Kluber's ERA. He is responsible for now the runners on 2nd and 3rd after having the bases loaded before coming out of the game. So Kluber, yeah, he could have stayed in. And maybe after we see what Nick Nelson did, he could have done better than the reliever. But honestly, it's just you see your guys out there struggling. So you're trying to get them out of there and out of trouble. And that just hasn't been the case. Nelson going to miss downstairs again. So he has not thrown a strike in 5 pitches. And Yankees may be in some trouble. The cleanup batter, Travis d'Arnaud, up in the box. And it's 1-1. So with the Marcell Ozuna RBI walk, Freeman advances to 2nd. Riley scores. And Heredia makes it to just 90 feet away now over at 3rd base. 2-1. Nelson throws one in the dirt. Well, Boone should have kept Kluber in because Nelson just gave up a run already. Yeah, Yankees pitching has walked 4 of the last 5 batters. And in the last 2 games combined, they've only had 5 walks. So it's entertaining and maybe not the best way right now. 2-2. To be fair, that is probably Boone and the pitching coach just trying to get Kluber out of trouble, but some really rocky decision making from the Yankees coaches here in 2021. Got him looking for strike 3. Travis d'Arnaud goes down on a pitch down and away. The bat stuck on his shoulder. The Yankees get out of it. The Braves score 2 runs with only 1 hit on the inning. Brutal for Yankees pitching. They need to come back down and score. Strike right away. At least put up 1 run and cut it back a little bit. But for the Braves, they strand 3 men on base. 1 hit. 2 runs score. Let's go to the home half of the 5th. Finally, we get out of it. Yes, finally. This is what's going to happen when we keep taking out our starters early and our pen will be burnt. I mean, yeah, to be fair, if they went to anyone other than Nick Nelson, we might have gotten out of that. Because the bullpens looked good. Chad Green has looked pretty good. Aroldis Chapman as our closer has been great. Johnny Loizaga has been, good. I don't know. It's such a tough thing right now because the strong guys out of the Yankees bullpen who you expect to be good have been just that. But it's way too early to bring in a Chad Green in the 5th inning. So, you had to go Nick Nelson or someone else who was available and who can eat up innings. So he couldn't find the zone. He walked Ozuna on 4 pitches. And that made it a 2-0 game. So that's how we currently stand. For the Yankees here in the bottom of the 5th, Gary Sanchez will lead things off. Ian Anderson now working with the win for the first time, or with the lead for the first time this game. He is in queue for the win once this inning comes to a close if he and the Braves are still ahead. Anderson has a clean 0-win, 0-loss record on the season. Gary fouls one back for strike 1. And that's just down in the dirt. Gary Sanchez goes golfing for it. Swing and miss, strike 2. The Blue Jays extend their lead over the Red Sox 3-0 in the 2nd. So that's some other division games going on. Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox, of course, in the AL East. Gary Sanchez goes down swinging. So, we give up the lead. And we're just swinging the bats, trying to hit for home runs. This is what the Yankees have been doing. They're swinging for the fences, and it just doesn't work for them. This year, the hittings looked very weak. And Clint Frazier now, who is with 1 hit in his last 26 plate appearances, the average down to 158. Still no home runs or runs batted in this season. It's really hard to not be frustrated with this team. Not with today's game. Today's game, Kluber did well. other than the excessive walks in the fifth and Nick Nelson walking in a guy on a 4-pitch at bat, it's it's been a really rough start. Brian Cashman has talked a little bit. I believe Hal Steinbrenner talked a little bit. And Boone, it's just, this is not what these guys are working for. This is the New York Yankees. They're a team who has a good track record and a lot of success in the past. Bo Bichette singles, and another run scores, 4-0 Blue Jays in the second. Clint Frazier goes down looking like, oh my goodness. And I mean, as a Yankees fan the past few seasons, it's been hard playing in the regular season. The postseason, something different. Aroldis Chapman blows the save, or blows a big game for us the past 2 seasons and eliminates us from October baseball. But in the regular season, some questionable decisions from Aaron Boone. Last year, a lot of guys struggled. It was a 60-game year. There wasn't a lot to complain about. These injuries, it wasn't bad. Yankees fans did not have it extremely terrible. This year, it's just what are we doing? DJ LeMahieu with his 3rd ground out of the game. 5-3 putout. And we go to the top of the 6th. Zeros across the board for the Yankees this inning. This one's rough, guys. This one's, it's hard to watch a little bit now as a Yankees fan. We go to the 6th. It's going to be Ozzie Albies, who was the only guy in the Braves order who didn't have an at-bat last inning. Sandoval led things off, batting 6th. The Darno was the last out. He's the number 4 hitter. Ozzie Albies slotted 5th in the lineup tonight. So Ozzie will get his 3rd opportunity. Singled in the 2nd, flew out to right in the 4th. Anderson, with 5 innings under his belt, 5 clean innings of no-run baseball, is set up for the win, helping the Braves get to that point. But we're far from over here in the Bronx. So I'm looking at a tweet here from Brian Hoke, who's a beat reporter for the New York Yankees. And as I've already discussed, Kluber was yet to complete 5 innings as a New York Yankee this season in a single start. And tonight, he entered the 5th with 62 pitches. 62 pitches in 4 innings. He exited the game with over 90 and was 1 out away from completing the 5th frame. It's hard. And right now, it's just, the move is backfiring. 1 year, $11 million. For New York, this offseason, they had to target pitching, and they went kind of a cheap route. Cashman was trying to stay under the luxury tax, so he signed Kluber to 1 year, $11 million, and then he traded for Tyone, who for 2 years of control is going to get paid $2.5 million. So overall, $13.5 million for 2 pitchers, but Kluber not panning out to be successful yet through 4 starts. Nelson returns, and much like how we saw a lot of his pitches in the 5th, the first of this at-bat's going to be a ball to Ozzie Albies. Down in the zone, strike 1. So finally, Ozzie Albies offered right there to pitch well in the dirt, but at least Nelson gets one across for a strike. The 1-1, Ozzie Albies will swing and miss at a fastball upstairs. Strike 2. Fastball from Nelson at 97 miles per hour. Right there on the radar gun. 1-2. Ozzy Albies lines it back up to where the shortstop Gleyber Torres would be, but because of the shift, it's Gio Urshela's ball. So we'll line out to short. It's going to be going down as an L5, line out to third in the scorebook, but right to the shortstop position. There's your first out of the sixth. Nelson starts Sandoval off with the curveball inside for ball one. Pablo, the designated hitter, batting .357, as he's now 1 for 2 on the day with a single in the fifth. He'll go ahead and swing and miss up and away. It's 1-2. One ball, one strike. Nick Nelson, now it's 1-2 on the offer and miss. No one on base. We're on the top of the sixth. There is a 1 out and a little bit of a shift. DJ LeMahieu's playing back more right behind the infield dirt. So he's on the grass just in case the ball is hit hard to the right side. And instead, it's going to be popped up down the third baseline, but foul and out of play. So we'll try it again in a 1-2 count. On deck is Dansby Swanson. He's guaranteed an at-bat here in the sixth. And the Yes broadcast is panning over to two fans at Yankee Stadium with a scorebook. So I think now it only makes sense to go ahead and show you guys the book that I'm keeping. I keep a game every stream that we do. And with this book, I can see that right now Pablo Sandoval flew out to right field in the second, singled back in the fifth, and scored. And now the count is going to be 3-2 as the pitch is going to skip over the strike zone. Struck him out. Pablo Sandoval goes down swinging on a pitch elevated in the zone. So Nick Nelson gets out number 2 via a forwards K in the very scorebook. Sandoval was underneath of it, and he goes down as the second out. It's a forwards K here in the sixth. Nick Nelson at 20 pitches. And he's going to start Dansby Swanson off with a pitch pretty much right down the heart of the plate. Fouled straight back for strike one. Swanson batting .185. He's 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a strikeout. There is a shift on the Braves shortstop. 3 guys on the left side of the diamond. DJ LeMahieu heads over. He's shadowing second base and closer to Gleyber Torres. So this is to prevent a ball pulled down the third base line. Swanson being a right-handed hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike, looping breaking ball in for strike 2 as Swanson will swing and miss. So rough game right now. Definitely poor turn of events if you're a Yankees fan or if you're just the Yankees at all right now. 5-game losing streak was broken last night, and they might jump right back into that column as they currently trail 2-0 and the offense is lackluster through 5. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Nick Nelson to Dansby Swanson. So we'll try it again here, and the payoff pitch to Gary Sanchez. 89 miles per hour I mean, if you're Dansby Swanson, you want that pitch back. That's still just right over the middle of the plate. Okay. Aaron Boone, shown now on the broadcast. We'll see what his future looks like as the Yankees manager. I mean, I'm a big fan of Boone as a person. He's made some interesting decisions. Some have backfired. Some actually end up working out, but just it's tough right now to see a team of this caliber with all of these players do so bad. And, you've got a lot of competition in the AL East, and no one's slowing down. The Red Sox off to a great start. The Rays always in it. The Orioles are better than us, and they have a losing record. The Blue Jays are just slowly starting to chug along now as we're almost 20 games into the season. Swanson will go swing and miss at a pitch downstairs for strike 3. Nelson and the Yanks get out of it. Go to the home half of the 6th, and we see if they can finally put a run or two on the board. So a line out from Ozzie Albies, and then strikeouts from Sandoval and Swanson have the Braves going down in order. The Yankees, we see the 2-3-4 guys step up to the plate with Judge, Stanton, Urshela here in the 6th. There's still a lot of baseball left to be played, but time is ticking. The Yankees are running out of outs offensively. Last night, they scored 2 runs in the 8th. Down to the wire. I would rather them not wait that long again here, at least as a Yankees fan, that is. Let's maybe get something going now with them trailing by 2. So now that we are in between innings, we're going to go ahead and take a look at, again, scores around the league, see where we are. Braves lead the Yankees 2-0. That's a no-brainer. The Blue Jays 4-0 over the Red Sox in the bottom of the 2nd. Mets lead the Cubs by a score of 2-0. The Tigers in Game 2 of the doubleheader have a 5-2 lead over the Pirates. Diamondbacks and Reds are in the top of the 6th, with Cincinnati having a 3-run lead. Tampa Bay Rays lead the Kansas City Royals 4-0 in the bottom of the 1st. Brandon Lau, who I sat today in fantasy baseball, a 2-run homer. Oh no, that kills me. That's rough. Brandon Lau, another home run, back-to-back nights with homers. Good for him. He's heating up a little bit. So that's it for games currently in progress. A lot of earlier start times today. And I'm looking here. Everything else we covered pretty much. The Marlins beat the Orioles 3-0. The Athletics walked off against the Twins 13-12 in 10 innings. And here's Ian Anderson back out there in the bottom of the 6th, facing off against Aaron Judge. First pitch is a looping curveball in the dirt for ball 1. But Anderson only at 66 pitches through 5 completed innings of work. He's been very effective, and he silenced the Yankees hitters well. Little to no resistance from tonight's New York batting lineup. The 1-1. And Judge looks in, strike 2, a fastball down and in, knee high. So a fun little fact here. I believe I did a video about this, like one of my first videos here on YouTube. My first ever Major League Baseball game was at the Old Braves Stadium, and here's Aaron Judge with the leadoff single. Thank goodness. We get something here. Maybe we run with this and we score a few runs in the bottom of the 6th. But Judge is going to sneak one right under the glove of Freddie Freeman. He gets down at his knees, tries to scoop it, but he cannot do so successfully. I think that should be ruled a single. That's what I'm going to go with right now, an infield base hit. Rolled all the way out to right fielder, Ahiri Adrianza, but Judge stands at first now with Stanton in the box and nobody out. Popped up, and he slams the bat into the ground. As soon as that ball left his bat, he took his bat over his head and just slammed it into the dirt. So 1 out. It's a pop-up for out number 1. And my first ever Major League Baseball game was between the Atlanta Braves and San Francisco Giants. I believe back in the earlier years of the 2010s decade. I can pull up the date here. Just give me a moment. My first ever Major League Baseball game in Atlanta, Braves and Giants. I was young, so I don't remember a whole lot from that day. I do believe the Braves won. And that was my first ever MLB experience. My first ever game was August 16th, 2011. And it was indeed the Braves, of course, down there. I'm going to go ahead and check that score. So looking back at it here, San Francisco Giants and Atlanta Braves, there we go. It was 2-1. Atlanta got the win at Turner Field. The Braves advanced to 72-51 on the year. The Giants were then 66-57, less to end the season. There were 22,108 fans in attendance. And bottom of the 11th inning, so it went into extras. The Braves walked it off. Arodys Vizcaíno got the win. That's a name I have not heard in a very long time. But Giants-Braves is my first ever Major League Baseball game. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Gio Urshela. Aaron Judge still at first, and there is 1 away. Heavy wind in the Bronx. There was a little bit of a storm that passed through earlier today, the tri-state area. Not a lot of rain. The wind's picking up. Time is called. There's stuff flying around all behind home plate right now. And we'll try it again. Ian Anderson, Gio Urshela, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Aaron Judge on first. 1 batter away. And a very defensive swing on a changeup, knee high. Foul ball. We go 2-2 again. Gleyber Torres on deck. It looks like he's added some more weather-appropriate gear. He's got the long sleeves under the jersey, the turtleneck running up. And with Urshela, there is another bit of a shift. Second baseman Ozzie Albies still on the right side of the diamond, but closer to behind the base. So a bit of a gap on the right side of the infield. Urshela fouls this one back off of his foot. So yet again, we'll try in a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Ian Anderson, 76 pitches so far tonight. It's Urshela and then Gleyber Torres. Gio lined out to right in the second, singled back in the fourth, and then was out on the Gleyber Torres fielder's choice directly after. Two balls, 2 strikes. Urshela fouls back another pitch. Hey, good for him. Not going down easy, making Ian Anderson work. And if you're Urshela, that's all you want to do right now. Just stay alive as long as possible. Maybe you get him to throw a pitch down the middle and he makes a mistake. You can capitalize, possibly score 2 runs on 1 swing. Tie this ball game up with another home run. Urshela's got 2 homers and 7 runs batted in on the year with 1 stolen base. One of his 2 home runs came last night, And it's grounded right back up the middle. Ian Anderson. Hey, look what I found. Sticks his glove down and turns a double play. Aaron Judge kneels down and smiles like, wow. Great play, Ian Anderson. Heads up baseball. I did not see who covered second base, but I believe it was Ozzie Albies. So a 1-4-3 double play to end the inning. It's rough. We go to the 7th. 2 hours into the game, or 2 hours at least into the stream, just under 2 hours into the game. And the Braves are able to capitalize back in the 5th. They put up 2, and that's been the extent of success either team has had at plating runs here in this one. All right, another pitching change. Luis Cessa comes in to relieve Nick Nelson, and we'll see what he can do for us. 6-foot-tall right-handed reliever Luis Cessa. He's 28 years old. Just got engaged, by the way. Congratulations, Luis Cessa. Just announced his engagement on social media the other day. Here in 2021, Cessa, a 1.17 earned run average in 6 games, has struck out 12 batters in 7 2/3 frames with a 1.17 whip. No wins, no losses, no saves. Good middle reliever for this franchise. In his MLB career, 108 games, 19 starts, and 4 saves. 7 wins, 12 losses, 219 strikeouts, 261 1/3 innings, and a 4.30 ERA throughout all of his Major League Baseball tenure. He debuted on April 8th of 2016 with this New York Yankees club. And before the 7th inning gets underway, today, the Somerset Patriots, who were brought up earlier in this stream, Somerset Patriots did lose their owner, Steve Califer, owner emeritus Steve Califer. At 71 years old, he passed away earlier today. I personally did not know him. I attended a lot of Somerset Patriots games. I heard nothing but great things about him, and he did a lot for the Somerset community. Patriots have always been such a great time for everyone in attendance, and he was the driving force behind it. Going into this season, there was a lot of work that had to be done for the Patriots to affiliate with the New York Yankees, and going through the process, what's been said, the Yankees approached Somerset, and there were a few stadium tours and conversations that took place, just like any business matter would be. And eventually, after a few months, the Yankees decided to go with Somerset after releasing Trenton Thunder as their AA affiliate. The Califers were really excited to announce it. Steve Califer, his family, just spent a lot of money on stadium upgrades to help bring TD Bank Ballpark up to minor league baseball regulations. And he is going to be missed by many. So rest in peace, Steve Califer. Here we are, back to the game. Mike Ford, it's a circus right now at the major league level. Mike Ford backpedals on a ball hit shallow into right field. Backpedals, and once he realizes, oh, wow, the wind is actually going to make this carry a little bit more, he turns around to try to make the grab, and it just drops right between him and Aaron Judge. So, there's that. Austin Riley is aboard. I feel like he's always up now. 2 walks, a hit for Riley. He's having a nice, successful day at the plate. So he gets one to drop into right field for a base knock. Here comes Guillermo Heredia. 0 for 1. He flew out to left and then walked in the 3rd and 5th frame, respectively. That's a swing and miss. Good for a strike. So Ian Anderson, 6 strong innings as the Braves starter tonight. Has a 2-run lead currently. DJ LeMahieu. Oh my goodness. Okay. Quick disclaimer. I try in these streams to be as unbiased as possible. Like I try not to root for, the Yankees all the time. I do make it known that they're my favorite team, just so you guys have that as I'm kind of commentating through this, but it's hard to watch this team right now. And this is probably the single stream this season I've shown the most emotion towards the New York Yankees. This is a ball weakly hit in the air to DJ LeMahieu. It one-hops into what should have been his glove. He tries to pick it up with his bare hand and bobbles it. So Riley makes it to second. Heredia makes it to first. By the time DJ gets the ball, he looks over to second base to see if Riley's there. And it's gonna be, that has to be an E4. It has to be an E4 on LeMahieu. Heredia reaches first. Riley advances to second. It's top of the order. And it looked like a bunch right there. Makes it now second and third. Adrianza showed bunt once before. And this time he got it down successfully. Sessa picked up the ball, threw over to Mike Ford, who was covering the bag at first. And that was it. A 1-3 sacrifice would get Riley to third, Heredia second. Freddie Freeman in now with 1 out. He gets intentionally walked. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now, at this point, I was biased towards Freddie Freeman because I need the help with fantasy baseball. So, hey, he's got second and third, 1 out. I can get some RBIs out of this, and he gets walked, I think, for the second time this series. He's given the free pass. But good thing is, I also have Marcell Ozuna. So if the Yankees are going to lose, Ozuna, you might as well just blow the game open now with the grand slam and help me out a little bit. Freeman on first with the intentional walk. I'm kidding, of course. I don't necessarily want them to hit a grand slam because I would love to see the Yankees win. That's my team. Ozuna back up the middle, splinters his bat. It's a 4-6 safe at first base. Fielder's choice RBI. I thought that was an inning double play, and I was just going to be upset all around. Like, the Yankees are losing. I don't get any help from fantasy, but no, thank you, Marcell Ozuna. Almost a 4-6-3 double play. It is avoided. Fielder's choice, but an RBI. That's Ozuna's second RBI of the night. The first was a bases-loaded walk, and this is a bases-loaded fielder's choice hit. Riley comes around to score. Heredia makes it to third. So Heredia at third base, Ozuna at first now for Travis d'Arnaud. And the Braves take a 3-0 lead. There's a timeout here. So Sessa has worked into trouble, yet to get out of it, but there are 2 outs, runners at the corners. d'Arnaud has a strikeout, lineout, and flyout all to his name tonight. See what he could do here. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. Luis Cessa, 9 pitches here in the inning. The Braves have taken a 3-0 lead over the Yankees. If the game ends with this score, these teams split the set at 1 win apiece. New York moves on to play the Cleveland Indians for 4 games. I believe that is that starting tomorrow, or is there an off day for New York? Let's take a look. So the Yankees do play tomorrow in Cleveland, 6:10 p.m. Eastern Time start. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's Yankees at Cleveland. For the Atlanta Braves, they have an off day tomorrow, and they play the Diamondbacks at home for 3 games, and then they host the Cubs for 4, and then travel to Toronto for 3. Travis d'Arnaud grounds it to the left side. Gio Urshela backhands it, throw over to, I was going to say Lou Ford. Mike Ford is in time, out number 3. Now, Lou Ford right there, that's a nod to the Long Island Ducks, an Atlantic League of professional baseball team. They used to be in the same league and division of the Somerset Patriots, and now, of course, with the Patriots affiliation, that is no longer. So we head to the bottom of the 7th, and for the New York Yankees, well, they are down 3. 9 outs to go before we head into extra innings. They need to play to at least 3 runs if they want to tie, 4 to win, and that's if they can contain the Braves' bats. Pitching has not looked great for us. As you can tell by the scoreboard and the goose egg featured on it for the New York Yankees portion, hitting has not looked good either. So, a little bit of a mess right here. As a club, it's going to be Torres, Ford, and Hicks. 5, 6, 7 due up, home half of the 7th. And guys, this might end up being the last 3 outs I call live on YouTube, depending on what happens. I may just take the last 2 innings to watch on my own, just deal with the Yankees and the struggles not on YouTube here. Last night, the Braves scored 1 run on 6 hits. Yankees 3 runs on 5 hits, and they broke their 5-game losing streak, jumped back in the win column. Now it looks like they're just kind of returning to that 2 nights ago form, or, that Sunday night form when they got swept by the Rays and they just were not playing good baseball. Tough times for the Yankees at the moment. We'll see if they can turn around. The season is still young. So is this game. A lot can happen still. But this is game number 17 for the Yankees of 162. Now, last year, if this was happening last year in the 60-game season, I would be freaking out a little bit more just because, 16 of 60. You're a lot further into the season than 16 of 162. You're about a tenth of the way into this season now. And at this point last year, you were a quarter of the way done. So it's a big difference. And the Yankees did do fairly well last regular season. This year, we know where they stand at the moment. So see how things go. Again, very early for both these teams who, before the 2021 regular season began, were projected to be some of the best within the division. The Braves and Mets were going to be the 2 top competitors, it looked like, here in the NL East. And in the AL East, the Yankees, Blue Jays, Rays were really the 3 prominent names to watch out for. Jays and Yanks both off to slow starts this year. Toronto 7-10, New York 6-10. The Blue Jays are on track to win this game against the Red Sox. They still have a 4-0 lead. The Yankees probably will lose this one. Both teams have 3 hits. The Braves just have 3 runs. 2 RBIs from Marcell Ozuna and a sac fly from Ehire Adrianza has the score up 3-0 in Atlanta's favor. It's devastating. Just knowing the guys that the New York Yankees have and seeing 0 after 0 after 0 every inning. It's tough. Here's Gleyber Torres, 1 for 2. He singled back in the second, got the first hit on the night for New York. And there's some bullpen action. Jackson and Minter warming up, right-handed and left-handed reliever respectively for the Braves. Ian Anderson only just touching 80 pitches now, pitch number 81. Gleyber Torres, he checks his swing, and it gets off the bat. Travis d'Arnaud in front of home plate picks up the ball, throws over to first in time, and that's out number 1. Oh my goodness. Brutal right here. A 2-3 put out. Here's Mike Ford. Looking for his first hit of the season. He debuted yesterday following Jay Bruce's retirement. And with Ford making his debut last night, DJ LeMahieu went back to second base. Rougned Odor returned to the bench. And, you have all your Yankees guys playing their primary positions, at least in the infield. Single right back up the middle. There we go. Mike Ford, first hit of the season. Okay, first hit of the year against Ian Anderson. Bottom of the 7th, the Yankees trailed 3-0. 4 players hit 90-plus home runs with the Braves and also played for the Yankees throughout their career. Who are they? That is the yes trivia question of the night. The answer, Andrew Jones, Brian McCann, David Justice, and Felipe Alou. If I was actually trying to answer that, I probably wouldn't have gotten anyone other than Brian McCann. Of course, I know Andrew Jones very well. Just something like that, I don't know if I would have thought of him right away. Brian McCann, of course, veteran catcher. Now, I think, well retired at this point. Was with the Yankees for quite some time. He was our starting catcher. Was with the Braves for a while. He was their starting catcher. I believe when McCann was still the main catcher for Atlanta, Tyler Flowers was their backup still. But I could be wrong. Anyway, single back up the middle for Mike Ford. We got a base runner. That's our 4th hit of the game. Aaron Hicks down in the count 0-2. I have a bad premonition. Like a weak ground ball hit to the right side for an inning-ending double play. I really hope that's not the case. Hicks struggling, though. Came into tonight with a 160 average. What is he swinging at in the other batter's box? And he kind of gives like a haphazard swing. That's strike number 3. Ian Anderson registering another strikeout. Hey, let me tell you, I give props to everyone at the major league level because I know I probably could not hit anything. Like, I could be sitting there against Ian Anderson or any MLB pitcher for hundreds of pitches. I'd probably make contact at some point. I'm sure it's super hard, especially when you got the bright lights in the Bronx on you, and you're losing 3-0, and the Yankees are off to a bad start in the year. But, like, these swings are just atrocious. Oh, my gosh. Okay, Gary Sanchez. Long foul ball down the left field line for strike 1. Ozuna, a failed attempt throwing the ball into the stands. Take 2, he gets it. So strike 1 to Sanchez, who was hitless through 2 at-bats. Struck out both times. Pair of strikeouts. 1 in the second, 1 in the 5th. Both strikeouts swinging. And he's down on the count 0-1 here to start it. Curveball down in the dirt. He does not offer at it. Counts even at 1 apiece. Runner on first, 2 away. Anthony Rizzo singled in the bottom of the 4th, scoring Wilson Contreras. The Cubs trail the Mets by a score of 2-1. If you want to keep tabs on that game. This one going to miss down and in. It's 2 balls and a strike. Ian Anderson, 6 2/3 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. A nice little line to his name. He is on pace to win his first game of the season. Now working with a 3-run lead from the Braves, and I'm sure the 7th inning will probably be his last. Fastball logo high instead of letter high. It's 3-1. Clint Frazier on deck. I believe now it's 27 plate appearances in a row where Clint Frazier has only one hit in that span. Look at guys who are just underwhelming this season. Stanton, Glaber, Hicks, Sanchez, Frazier. I mean, that's a good majority of the lineup right there. DJ LeMahieu not looking like his DJ LeMahieu self. Gary Sanchez takes a pitch on the inner third, thinking it's ball four, starts walking down the first baseline like Freddie Freeman a few at-bats into his game for Freddie. And the home plate umpire is like, nope, that's strike two. So the count goes full now. Full count, 2 outs, Ford at first. Ian Anderson with pitch number 91. And it's fouled back. Three balls, 2 strikes to the Yankees backstop. Travis d'Arnaud setting up. Down and in. And it's going to miss in the dirt. So Sanchez works a good at-bat. 2 outs, runners on first and second now for Clint Frazier. Ford moves up into scoring position, and that will end Ian Anderson's outing. It looks like the Braves are going to go to a reliever. At least it is a timeout. So a mound visit nonetheless. Whether they do remove Anderson from the game or not, we'll see. Off the jump, it looks like it's just a conversation. Like, hey, you just need one more out and we get out of it unscathed. Take a deep breath. You're good to go. More, I think, like strategizing too. Like, hey, Clint Frazier, you know this guy? He's 0 for 2 today, batting 154 on the season and struggling in his last, give or take, 30 at-bats. So just don't give him anything right down the middle, but you want to be aggressive. A .037 average in his last 9 games for Clint Frazier. Oh, man. Ford at second, Sanchez occupying first. First pitch to Frazier is a curveball downstairs, ball 1. Another looping curveball in for a called strike. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. .69 straight plate appearances without an RBI for Clint Frazier. I believe that's second worst in Major League Baseball right now, only behind Josh Naylor. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sorry, 2 balls, 1 strike. That one's going to miss downstairs. Fastball. Anderson does not get the call. It was low. So good on the ump's behalf to not award that call. Instead, it's 3-1. Clint Frazier can extend this inning, bring up DJ LeMahieu with bases loaded. And d'Arnaud's talking to the home plate ump. I'm assuming, like, hey, was that low? Like, how did that miss? Shouldn't that be a strike? There's a lot going on right now, a lot to process. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, runners at first and second. Clint Frazier in the box. You know, he has been very cold recently. Doesn't have an RBI. in nearly 70 plate appearances. That's a curveball, ball 4. Down in the dirt, it's bases loaded. So, hey, if we could capitalize on this right here, just like the Braves did when Corey Kluber had that rough inning in the 5th, that would be awesome. That would be amazing if the New York Yankees right here could at least score one. DJ LeMahieu coming up to hit. He's 0 for 3. He grounded out to shortstop in the 1st and to third base in both the 3rd and 5th. AJ Minter seems to be the guy coming in for the Braves now to relieve Ian Anderson. Now, Anderson is responsible for everyone occupying a base right now. So it's bases loaded, the ducks on the pond. And if anyone scores, it affects Ian Anderson's earned run average. So whether that's Ford, Sanchez, or Frazier, or all of the above, if any of those score, it'll go towards Anderson's ERA. If LeMahieu scores, that impacts Minter because he is a fresh at-bat coming in. But since Anderson worked the bases loaded and he was the pitcher when these guys got on, his ERA is impacted if they cross home plate. Let's go ahead and pull up AJ Minter's stats while we wait for this commercial break to end and the game to resume. Here in 2021, Minter, who is a left-handed reliever, 27 years old. 9 games pitched, 1 win, no losses, and a 5.63 ERA. He's recorded 9 strikeouts in 8 innings, and the whip is 1.38. His career whip, 1.39 in 148 games, which he has a 500 win percentage, 9 wins, 9 losses. The career ERA is 3.79, 163 strikeouts, 135 and 1/3 innings of work. Now, we do have a score change in the Cubs and the Mets. David Bodie singles in the bottom of the 4th. 2 runners score. So the Cubs lead the Mets now 4-2, and that's after Matt Duffy walked in the bottom of the 4th and Chris Bryant scored. So another bases loaded walk that hurts a New York team. It's 4-2 Chicago leading the Mets in the bottom half of the 4th. But more importantly, this game right here, right now, it's bases loaded, 2 outs, Yankees trail by 3, and in is DJ LeMahieu, one of their most consistent players since 2019. He has the highest average with runners in scoring position in Major League Baseball at 378 with runners in scoring position since that 2019 year. Miguel Cabrera right behind him at 365. If LeMahieu can just single, we need to chip away at this 3-run deficit. A home run would be huge. Something right now. We just need a hit. But LeMahieu, one of the most consistent players in pinstripes in each of the 2019 and 2020 seasons, signed a 6-year, $90 million contract in the 2020-2021 winter, bringing him back this year and beyond. Right now he's hitting .286 with 3 groundouts in this game. Mike Ford is at 3rd. Gary Sanchez is at 2nd. Clint Frazier over at 1st. Ducks are on the pond for the Yankees leadoff batter. One and 0 count. The payoff pitch, Minter to Darno, who sets up inside. Grounded, bobbled by Riley, thrown over to 1st, and in time. DJ LeMahieu can't hit a ball out of the infield today. It is a 5-3 ground out, and the Yankees strand the bases loaded down by 3 at the end of the 7th. 1 hit, no runs, 3 men left on base. AJ Minter does his job perfectly, like to a T for the Braves. Guys, that's going to end it for me here tonight. I would usually do all 9 innings. Just tonight, I'm going to go ahead and kind of deal with this Yankees game. It's a lot right now. They're struggling, and it's not fun as a Yankees fan. But I'm going to go ahead, call it a night here. Expect another stream probably early next week. I don't think I'll be able to stream by this weekend. But thank you to everyone for joining in today. to the live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed and had a good night. Here for the Yankees and Braves, Atlanta leads 3-0 in the Bronx. This is game 2 of 2. The Yankees won last night. Braves on track to win tonight and split the series at 1 win apiece. Guys, that's going to end it for me. If you enjoyed, don't forget to drop a like down below. Comment in the chat, in the stream. If you haven't already, let me know that you guys are here. Thank you for making an appearance, for joining me here tonight as you did a live coverage and commentary of the Braves at Yankees. Also, subscribe if you're new and join the team. Turn on your notifications if you like content just like this, because for these live streams, I do not have a set schedule. It's whenever pretty much I'm around. If the Yankees are playing or the Mets are playing or a team is broadcasted on ESPN or something, and if I'm not doing anything, chances are I will be streaming here right on YouTube. I think this is like our 6th or 7th game we've done live of 2021. That number is going to grow exponentially over the course of the rest of this season. Guys, thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I hope you have a good rest of your evening, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.